Hooty hoo, Owl Nation. Welcome to the Keys to On-Campus Living, the first year housing application edition. We're so excited to bring this year's application to you. My name is Chris Bruno. I work in housing and residence life here at Kennesaw State. And if you've been watching these videos, you'll see that I have a new face next to me. Would you introduce yourself?
My name is Hannah McLeod, and I'm housing coordinator here at Kennesaw State University.
Yeah, so we are super excited to bring this video to you. Just as a reminder before we get started, everything you're about to hear today is on our housing website. Our marketing team has put together a lot of great materials. They'll have step-by-step guides, other videos, screenshots. There'll be some screenshots and videos embedded into this one as well. So please don't worry if you miss something during this. Our website has everything you need. Let's get to the first slide. This is the housing application dates. This is the most important thing you'll see today, so we're putting it right in front of you right now. The first year housing application is going to open up on December 2nd at 10 a.m. It's an important date, so remember to go to the housing portal on December 2nd at 10 a.m. to get your housing application started. Now, upper class students are a little bit different, right?
Yes.
Yeah, so if you're an upper class student, you won't apply until January 8th, 2025. I'm trying to get used to saying 2025.
2025.
2025. January 8th, 2025, also at 10 a.m. We get questions a lot of time of who is considered an upper class student, is a dual enrolled high school student who has over 30 credit hours. Unfortunately not. So from our definitions, an upper class student is someone who is at their second year at Kennesaw State or higher. But also transfer students. Let's say you're transferring in from a different university, you would be considered an upper class student and would apply in that January date. Also opening at 10 a.m. in the housing portal. Upper class students, this is your time to tune out. We are only going to focus on the first year housing application right now. So let's get into it, Hannah.
Let's do it.
This is the meat of the presentation here. We're going to give you a high level overview of the first year housing application, and there's 3 steps. First and foremost, step 1, that's really the easy part. That's what you're going to do on December 2nd. You start your application, you tell us a little bit about yourself, some biodemographic facts, all the important things. And in that step, you're going to give your interest in honors housing and whether you're interested in living in that living learning village, and also indicate your interest in renter's insurance. Now, Hannah, you've worked here for a couple years, right?
I sure have, and I've also done the first year housing application when I was a student here.
She sure did. So she's a living, breathing testament of the application. Renter's insurance is really important, right?
It definitely is.
So Hannah is a housing coordinator. She works with all of our housing assignments. We do have accidents in our housing areas. We have floods, pipes burst, all that stuff. If you live with us, we are not financially responsible to replace any of your items damaged during one of those incidents. So renter's insurance, if you live in off-campus housing, which Hannah does, renter's insurance is required. It is not here. So please make sure that you take advantage of that opportunity in the housing application.
For sure. Let's talk about step 2. Step 2 is going to be roommate selection. The time tickets for roommate selection is going to open in March. Roommate selection will start March 17th. This is an optional step. You do not have to select a roommate if you don't want to.
But that is St. Patty's Day.
It is St. Patrick's Day. So remember, select your friends on St. Patrick's Day in the housing portal.
You might hit a fortune at the end of the rainbow.
A lucky friend.
A lucky friend.
So again, optional step, you don't have to do it, but you can pair up with one other student. You can find your best friend from high school in there, you can search for their name, or you can go through from step 1 when you filled out the bio information about yourself, see some preferred matches. You could also text them through the housing portal. You could also text them if they shared any of their social media. Now, room selection is going to be step 3. This is not an optional step if you want to live on campus. Not optional.
We will not assign a room to you.
We will not. You will be selecting your own room. These time tickets will be shared in April, and room selection will open up on April 14th. Students can select the exact room that they want on campus too, down to the bed, down to the building, down to the floor that they want to live in, and it's based on the rooms that are available at that time.
Yeah, so again, that's a high-level overview of the 3 steps involved with the housing application process. This video in particular is we're about to dive deep into step 1. Steps 2 and 3 happen later in the spring semester. We're going to have videos dedicated to that process as well. So again, we're just giving you step one of the housing application. The roommate selection and the room selection will happen later.
Time tickets for roommate selection and room selection are going to be based on when you completed step one of the application. It is first come, first serve, so if you completed the application first, you would get the first time ticket to complete both roommate selection and room selection. So let's dive into step one of the application. This is where you're going to go in on December 2nd at 10 a.m. and go in and apply. A step-by-step guide can be found on our website. Highly recommend looking at that. It has screenshots. You'll see exactly what our housing portal looks like, so you could get familiar with that before the housing portal even opens for you. Once you have been accepted, and you do need to be an accepted student at Kennesaw State in order to apply for housing here, you will need to have your net ID and password. Make sure you write that down somewhere, keep that safe. You will use that throughout all of your years here at Kennesaw State. Make sure you know the net ID and the password to begin the housing application. You will also use Duo two-factor authentication to log in. Make sure that you go ahead and log into that. You can download Duo on your phone and already get that set up so that you're ready to go, rocking and rolling on step one on December 2nd at 10 a.m. when the housing application opens. To begin your application, you're going to need to visit the housing portal. The best way to get here, and this is the way that I do it, I search KSU housing website, log into that, and then go to the housing portal. It's a little button right on the front page. From there, you'll need to select the year you're applying for. If you are an incoming freshman, it is 2025, 2026, which does sound crazy to say.
That is, that's hard to say in one
It
mouthful,
is.
2025,
2026, which is nuts.
That's almost like two-factor authentication. That's
It
really
is.
hard to say.
It is.
So Hannah's got you through the first couple steps of the housing application. Next, you'll reach this terms and conditions page where it'll outline, as a residential student, I get to have a meal plan. Renter's insurance is not required, but it's strongly recommended. Those are just little check boxes that you'll see. Then we get into the fun part. So you will actually be able to fill out the My Profile section, and this is all about you. Now, parents, if you're watching out there, please let your students do this so that everything is answered honestly and openly, not what you think your student is like. You're going to see questions of how clean you often keep your room, what time you go to bed, how hot or cold you like your room to be, your study preferences, your study habits. And then there's going to be an open-ended box that is your profile. It's literally like a dating website. Now, Hannah mentioned that roommate selection starts in March, so no one will be able to see this until March. The My Profile section is really important. We see students get very creative in there. Some of the things they share are quite interesting, but this is where you'll give a little bio about yourself. Imagine you're creating a Tinder profile and you want to write, the most interesting thing about you. This is similar to that, so that when people are hunting for roommates, they can look and see what you put in there aside from the questions. We also have the opportunity for you to put all your social media information, your Snapchat, Instagram, TikTok, places where people can find you, along with your cell phone and email, if you choose to share that. Once you complete your profile, that's when you'll reach our GradGuard renter's insurance pages, and you're not purchasing anything at this time. You're really just saying, I'm either interested in learning more or I decline coverage. And you can always go back and change your answer to that question. At this time between December and April, when you'll pick a room, research, again, I'm going to talk about renter's insurance a lot. Research your homeowner's policy to see if you're going to be covered under your parent or guardian's policy, or if you need to take out your own renter's insurance policy. Can't stress it enough how important that is. And that's it. That completes step one. There is one final step that is optional, which is not required for step one, but is required for steps 2 and 3. That is paying our $200 non-refundable application initiation fee. And all that does is say, I've done my application, I'm paying this money that I know I can't get back, whether I choose a room or not. My recommendation is only pay that if you 100% know that Kennesaw Housing is for you. Because again, it is non-refundable, it is not a deposit, it doesn't go towards any of your rent. It's a fee that you're giving us to say, yeah, keep my application active, I want to look for roommates, and I want to pick a room eventually.
So let's talk a little bit about honors housing. Honors housing is only for first-year students, but it is on our Kennesaw and our Marietta campus. These students live in the same section of housing, probably within the same building and same floor as other honors college students. You do need to be accepted into the honors college to opt into this, but if you are in the honors college, you don't have to live in honors housing. It is optional, but you can opt in during step 1 of our application if you are interested.
some other housing for specialty groups. We have housing for athletic students. We have a gender-inclusive community called Stonewall. We have a care services community. We have a community for students in recovery from substance abuse. All the information you need to know about applying for those communities is on our website. It's not actually within the housing portal. You will apply for those outside with those respective departments to be included in that housing. So Hannah, you work a lot of open houses, you work orientations. Do you get questions about a live-on requirement?
I get a lot when I'm on the Marietta campus specifically.
Yes. So we get this question a lot. Do I have to live on campus as a Kennesaw State student? The answer is it depends.
Yeah, it kind of does.
It depends on what your major is. So the Kennesaw campus, we do not have a live-on requirement. You can live at home, you can live off campus, you can live anywhere you'd like. The Marietta campus, because that is a STEM-focused campus, that's science, technology, engineering, and math, those academic programs are extremely rigorous and require students to be in close proximity to support resources. So if you are coming to college and have a Marietta-based major, you do have to live on the Marietta campus. Now there's in our FAQs on the website, there's a question about this policy. There are ways to be exempted from this. It's a very simple form that you would fill out. So please just know that if you're enrolled in a Marietta-based major, you gotta live on the Marietta campus, and it's because we want you to be successful.
Great opportunity to get to know your classmates. They could live down on the floor with you.
Exactly.
They could be in the same community with you. It's a really good opportunity too.
Yeah, our architecture program is a 5-year program, and if you start with your fellow students, you're all gonna be working very closely together the next 4 or 5 years. So just know that. I think we're into the closing section now. That was a lot of information coming at you. So again, if you didn't take notes, that's A-okay. We have a ton of information on our website. Just wanted to recap a few important things. The housing application opens on December 2nd for first-year students, January 8th for upper-class students. We have this really cool feature in Starrez. Starrez is our software that we use. You can actually opt in to receive text messages from us. Let's say you're not great with calendars and you're not sure when the next step is. You can opt in and we will text you and say, hey, Chris, it's time to go pick a roommate. The process is coming up. And just really stay informed on important housing and residence life things, important dates, important events, things like that. So we encourage our students to opt in to receive those. We're not gonna flood your cell phone, so don't worry about that, but definitely highly recommend it. And then we have a group of people that are dedicated to answering your questions. We are supported by the Talon One Service Center. There's a slide here on how you can contact them if you have any questions throughout the process, whether it's December, February, March, April. If you have a question, that team is very knowledgeable about all of our processes and procedures, and they'll be able to help answer any question you have. And then finally, Hannah, you're on social media, right?
I sure am.
Okay, what's your handle? Just kidding.
Absolutely not.
Follow us at Housing KSU on all the things for all the information, all the updates. We put a lot of stuff out there, so please make sure to follow us on all the channels. I think that's it.
We're done.
Yeah, that's it for this recording, and we'll see you soon for step 2.
Bye.
Bye.